So I spent about 30 minutes on the phone with this fella, did some checking with some satellite photo stuff through Google and other systems, and checked it with some other sources, and checked it with the civilian inmate labor camp program, and did confirm this is one of the training centers for that, and that indeed the photos he sent us were accurate. And again, we're going to get more photos and post them once we can be sure that it doesn't reveal who our sources are. But I can tell you it's multiple sources, military and others. And they're pretty freaked out. But let's be clear. The federal government, and I've played the clips, has said NDAA will kill citizens without warrants or even arrest. No one will ever know where you went. We'll put you in black sites. It was in the news yesterday that in Europe and Iraq, a headline, London Guardian, more secret prisons found. In fact, put that in. Let's show folks that. More secret prisons. Torture sites in Romania. Torture sites in Egypt. Torture sites in Iraq. And you've got Lindsey Graham saying, if a citizen asks for a lawyer, we say, shut up, you don't get one. And then we cut in the video to the same debate. And creepy Lieberman says, we want Americans to be scared. We don't want you to know how we torture you. I mean, this is Jeffrey Dahmer stuff in your face. They need to do it openly so that everybody just thinks the crime is okay because an authority figure is doing it openly. This is how tyrants do it. Just like it comes out the troops are growing opium, the troops are getting upset. They just have Fox, CNN, BBC, ABC News all admit the troops are ordered to grow the opium in Afghanistan. And the troops are all made to stand around the news going, yeah, we don't like it. Why are we on TV? Well, because it's okay what you're doing. Geraldo says, thank you for standing up for America. Yeah, there it is. RAF helicopter death. Revelation leads to secret Iraq detention camp. They've got them all over the place. Read the Army's reports. Will they torture you? Will they try to arrest you? I don't know. Does the Army's own report say that they rape children? I mean, I go read it. You can't make this up. With acid. Go read it. Just type in Abu Ghraib Army abuse report. They call it abuse. Killing people, beating people to death. This is what we've signed on to. Abortions, it's just a procedure. Torturing a 5-year-old kid, it's just a procedure. George Bush saying he ordered torture in a book last year and would order it again. Well, why, when your guys got caught doing it, you send some to prison? Because it was illegal. They tried to get laws passed saying they could torture. They couldn't do that. Folks, these are criminals openly saying they order torture because they like it. Now, I'm going to go to our guest in this segment until the end of the show. I'll go into overdrive, too, to take some calls. I got to get to your calls. I want to take your calls. It's just there's so much info. Now, they admit they've built emergency centers for civil unrest. The John Warren Defense Authorization Act. They have the Emergency Centers Establishment Act that just admits what we already know has been built at old military bases. You have the Civilian Inmate Labor Camp program operating since the 70s, declassified in 1996. I mean, I'm giving you all the names. You can go to Department of Defense websites and look this all up. But talking to these guys, what's creepy is that they bug their eyes out at the workers at the base, the foreign troop trainers that are training them in torture and riot control and all the rest of it. They bug their eyes out at everybody. And it's this attitude that criminals have of trying to intimidate everybody because they know what they're doing is super illegal at this base. Okay? And we're going to break it down with our guest. But the point is, the killing of Americans, the camps, the torture, it's all out in the open. So you can't deny these camps are there because they admit that they are setting them up. They just don't want you to know where they are or the details because there's something about physically seeing it. Now, again, if you go to Infowars.com, source exposes FEMA training camp in Missouri, and it's Training Area 166, Camp Charlie, mock internment facility. That's what it is. It's a little Abu Ghraib, and they're building, they're expanding, and it's a big base. We're going to tell you which base it is, Fort Leonard, Missouri, and we're going to call him Sam. And Sam, you started breaking down a little bit last night, talking to me about this, but in your sources and the torture buildings and the rest of it. But I've been rambling on, so you got the floor till we go to break. Tell everybody what you can about this facility and the beefing up of security and everything that's going on there right now.
Okay. Basically, well, it's Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and basically what's going on there is, it's where they train all the MPs, and they've always trained them there. They train the MPs for all of the military, that's Navy, Air Force, Army, Marines. And actually, right about the same time as those KBR documents got released and the NDAA went through. It's an influx in military police training going on right now, and that's actually the word on the base, is that they're recruiting more MPs now than they would infantry or, say, any other branch of the Army. So for some reason or another, they're training a lot more MPs. They're training them on mob tactics, and that's what they call them, too, is mob control. So they don't want them to have a face, like it's not a certain group that they're going after. It's just mobs. And then I also overheard a comment of one of the trainees saying, well, wouldn't that hold be more aggressive or would be better on a man? And he said, it's not a woman or a man, it's a subject. So you can kind of get the feel of what's going on there.
Continued. Again, it's Fort Leonard Wood. That's a typo in the article. We churn out so much info that key things we seem to get wrong. That's not InfoWars' fault. That's us writing it up last night and giving it to Kurt like idiots. But I know it's Fort Leonard Wood. I was reading it myself going, why is that wrong? So we'll get the Google Maps photos up and get everything added to that. But please continue with the base and the rest of it.
Okay, well, if you go into the base off the Waynesville entrance, which is a town right out the south side of the post, and you turn right on Indiana, you take Indiana until a hard corner, where it turns into South Dakota Avenue, and right there on that corner is where the camp is. And it's just a training facility, but it's a lot bigger than what the picture showed. We got more, we took 15 photos, and only 2 of them came out. So really is all I can say is it's definitely creepy. There's a lot of security. And, it's just nerve-wracking for sure. The only other thing I could say, too, is if you look at the MP MOS, it was expanded with the NDAA, and it was expanded because the camps will be ran by MPs. Basically, is what I get back. So.
Okay, continue, sir. Continue breaking down because you made a lot of other points last night.
Yeah. Well, there was about 100 soldiers out there training, and they were training in baton tactics, which would be like a nightstick, and they were being led by a guy in a purple uniform. My assumption is it's foreign military. I couldn't tell you, but just the attitude that they all had when they're training, it's definitely going to be for women and men, and hopefully no children. But you got to just assume the worst.
Now, expanding on this, because I know you don't want to give up one of your sources, but you were saying that your source on the base is saying that was a foreign trainer. But specifically, what about these buildings with barbed wire around them facing both directions, with the barbed wire facing both directions on the outside?
Yeah, it's really weird because each little containment building has barbed wire on it, which at the top of the fence, it's a 8-foot fence, and at the top of it, it has barbed wire facing both directions. And then there's little pathways like cattle chambers where they would like prod people through, and it almost reminds me of an old time farm with padlocks on it, where you would let your animals graze over here for a little bit, and then when they ate the grass down, you would open that gate up and push them into the next pad, and so on and so forth. But yeah, so there's a fence around the whole thing with barbed wire both directions at the top, and then every single little confinement facility has barbed wire around it too. So, and then there's a guard tower every 100 feet, it seems like. But this is just the pictures only show the training facility, and there's even a bigger prison building that's concrete that's part of that training facility with bars and everything. But there is actual camp in the area. We have 3 in Missouri. So, but the one that you're seeing on the pictures is for the training.
Well, I mean, it's admitted that they have the civilian inmate labor camp program where the Army runs federal and state prisoners. That was secret for decades. So there's been secret programs. They got Rex 84, all of this. But you were telling me, though, there's a lot more action. There's construction going on. What are they doing there at the base?
Oh, yeah. Just like you said, it's going to be a hub, I believe, a big hub for training, just as it always has been with the MPs, And if you talk to soldiers that came from a battle zone, most of the work on an occupation anyway, like in Iraq, for instance, most of the groundwork was done by MPs. So But yeah, they're training MPs for home is the way it feels to me. Another thing that I wanted to bring up too is if you just do a word search on internment and look up what that means, it's either to confine prisoners of war, intern, or confine prisoners of war, or suspected terrorists. It's the definition. So.
Well, they're doing massive hiring everywhere. They've got giant contracts with Halliburton running them here in the U.S. It's a massive hiring program. Hundreds of millions of dollars just to do the training.
Yeah, I know. I saw that Kellogg Brown and Root have the contract.
But there it is. And he's got links to all the government documents and past big breakdowns we've done. But they admit, they say they'll have the military arrest us. They'll kill us. And you did tell me some other stuff you haven't gotten to on air. And it might be interesting to actually talk to your friend. But just describing how they're mean to everybody. They bug their eyes out at you. They flip out on people. And you were saying that it wasn't like this in the past. And that they're acting pretty suspicious.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It used to be an open post. You used to be able to just drive onto the post. Yeah, now you can't. So they're gonna ask you what you're doing. It's like you're leaving the country when you drive onto that place. So, or if you're coming back to the country, I should say. And then, there is some information I could give you, but I just can't because it would just pinpoint who. It wouldn't be a good thing. But we do want to get you some more photo and more videos because you haven't seen anything yet.
Everybody can drive over there right now and videotape it. I don't think we should be so scared of these people. I know you guys are involved, so you can't be known, and that's why you're aware of this.
Yeah, and you can't just get on the base. That's the thing. So.
Oh, those photos are actually on the base.
Yeah. And with all the recent legislation and everything, we're just concerned about our tax dollars, the Constitution, and our country. So.
Well, look, these are criminals, okay? Yeah. The military is full of good people, but it's illegal to say they can kill citizens and secretly arrest us and put us in camps.
Hey, I'm with you on that.
They may pass laws all day saying it. Hitler passed laws saying that. He was still Hitler.
Right. And, you kind of understand where I'm coming from because I remember the other day on your show you said, look, I got video cameras recording my house 24/7. If they think they're going to come in, somebody's going to see it, but I don't have that luxury. I wish I did. But, yeah, we all need to get together. We all need to stand strong. We need to get Ron Paul in office.
People that are serving this system need to ask themselves, how did it get this far? I mean, now they admit it's for the American people. It isn't for Al-Qaeda. They now admit Al-Qaeda works for the criminals that run our government. I mean, will you just do anything these criminals say? And the answer is no. The vast majority of police and military have said no. The problem is, as you know, the military goes through and gets the people that will follow the orders. They go and test them, and they pull them out and create cadres of those folks.
You're absolutely right, and you can bet on it that the military police will be our police on the street in this country soon. You can bet on it.
Sir, 12 years ago, they would have the MPs in San Antonio from the Air Force bases out arresting people. Now it's everywhere. I see newscasts every week all over the country where you just pull up and there's MPs with machine guns dragging people out of cars, Marines with Berettas on their sides, and they go, oh, we're doing a DWI check. So the checkpoint's illegal and it's troops. I mean, it's just full-out criminality.
It truly is, and we're going to keep trying to uncover it every corner that we can, and you'll always be our first contact. Long-time listener, Prison Planet TV member, Ron Paul supporter. I support the Constitution.
Basically, you're a terrorist.
Yeah, pretty much. And, it's a sad thing, too. I had to go to a Republican meeting here the other day just so they'd let me vote when the caucus comes through Missouri on March 17th. And that's another joke, too. We had the primary here 2 days ago, and it didn't count because it was scheduled too early. But they spent $10 million to go ahead and hold the primary, which it didn't count. But on the news, it showed Santorum got all the delegates, which they haven't even been given out yet because March 17th is the...
I know. It's all pure fraud. It's just total criminality. I mean, that's why we're in so much trouble. God bless you, my friend. We're going to add some more to that blurb. Photos are at Infowars.com. Source exposes FEMA training camp in Missouri. And we'll stay in contact, sir. I really, really do appreciate you.
More info for you soon.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.